Hello, I'm a guy that likes to talk about music, and today I want to talk about a song from the Police. It's one that you probably never heard on the radio, and for good reason, because it's kind of weird. It's called Mother. It starts out with this music that sounds more like noise than music, dun 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 dun, like some kind of chaos, and then it goes, the telephone is ringing. Is that my mother on the phone? The telephone is screaming. Won't she leave me alone? Sounds like a song about a guy that is going crazy, but not going crazy in a good way, going crazy in a bad way. Apparently, this guy does not enjoy getting phone calls from his mother. And this song was on the Synchronicity album. That's the one with Every Breath You Take and King of Pain Wrapped Around Your Finger. And that was one of the first tapes I ever owned. And I loved it. It was so interesting. It was quite the listening to experience. It was music that you didn't dance to it or do the dishes with it or whatever. It was just sit down on the edge of your bed and listen to music. I like to compare the Police to the Beatles because I feel like the Police were my Beatles. Not I Want to Hold Your Hand Beatles, but rather Sergeant Pepper Beatles. I read once about how Sergeant Pepper was different music from the previous rock and roll music because rock and roll music was music that you danced to, but Sergeant Pepper was music that you just sat and listened to. And that's how I feel about the Police and Synchronicity. Like I love Van Halen too, and I had Van Halen's 1984 on tape, and I'd listen to that tape and jump around because they had a song called Jump, so you have to jump to a song called Jump, and I'd play the air guitar and I'd play the air drums and just have fun. But then I got the Synchronicity tape from a garage sale, and that one you didn't play air guitar or jump around to. You just sat and listened to it. Now most Police songs were written and sung by Sting, but Mother was written and sung by Andy Summers, the guitarist. And I do remember noticing how the voice sounded different, but I didn't think much of it. I just figured that's just what Sting sounded like when he was going crazy. And this is a song that I bet a lot of Police fans don't like. I could easily picture this being one of those fast forward through songs. In fact, the reason I was remembering this song is because I came across this video that was called something like The Worst Songs in Rock or something like that. And according to this video, Mother is one of the worst songs in rock. And so you know that a song is bad if it's not a famous song and was never released as a single, but yet could be remembered by someone when they think of the subject of bad songs. But I guess the song did its job. I mean, it's art. The Police were art. And sometimes art is supposed to be unpleasant. And actually, the song reminds me of something Alice Cooper would have done in the 70s. It sounded like something that you'd hear on his Welcome to My Nightmare album or something like that. He did some artsy type songs in the 70s that were kind of creepy, and he did songs about mothers, and he did songs about going crazy. And so yeah, when I got into listening to Alice Cooper tapes, I could hear similarities between Alice Cooper and the Police, especially since he did this song called Under My Wheels, and the first line of that song is the telephone is ringing, and which is also the first line in Mother, the telephone is ringing. Uh, and so apparently men could have a hard time with women who call them too much, whether it's a mother or a girlfriend. Alice Cooper had problems with his girlfriend calling too much, and Andy Summers has problems with his mother calling too much. And I guess the song Mother is actually about a mother. And Andy Summers has said that he had issues with his mother. But before I read about that, I assumed that it was actually about a girlfriend that he just called Mother because she keeps acting like an overbearing mother. That's mostly because of a line that goes, every girl I go out with becomes my mother in the end. Or as he sings it, every girl I go out with becomes my mother in the end. So I figured it was about a guy who had a girlfriend who was acting like some kind of overbearing, bossy, controlling mother. Like if a guy says, says to his girlfriend or wife, "Yes, mother," that's not a term of endearment. But the song really is, like Summer said, about a mother. What would that line mean? Every girl I go out with becomes my mother in the end. I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask a psychologist about that. Whatever it means, it doesn't sound like a happy thing because he goes, mother. Yeah, like I said, the guy was going crazy. And it's a weird song. And actually, the song reminds me of the movie Psycho 2. Not Psycho 1, but Psycho 2. But I think I'll have to get into that later because I've had my fun for the day and I need to go do something productive. Mother.